what's up? My name is Samuel Leeds. I'm standing in Newcastle right now, and the average cost of a house around here, they're around about £80,000-90,000 for these houses. However, there was a pub for sale. Now this pub was snapped up by my man Ryan. What's happening, Ryan? How you doing?
What?
Ryan bought this pub, how much for?
130 grand.
130 grand. Now he's just refurbished it, he's pushed the value, split the titles. What's the current value of the pub?
700 grand.
£700,000. Serious.
Serious.
So you made like £250,000 profit. Let's go around. I want you to show us the figures,
Yep.
and you'll see exactly how he did this commercial to residential pub conversion. Let's go. So how bad was this? What was the condition?
Oh, this was like derelict pub.
Derelict finish.
Empty for about 2 years.
Woo! You've turned this place. Busy road. You can hear the high street traffic. So you've turned this into a HMO.
Yeah.
So this is
8 bed.
nice. So how much will these rooms rent out for?
These will rent for 4 to 425, maybe even 450 in some of the bigger rooms.
Okay, so about $450 per room,
Yeah.
and you've got an 8-bed HMO.
Yeah.
Plus. Oh wow, these are nice. These are nice. Plus, you've got an apartment, and another apartment, and another apartment, and another apartment, and another apartment.
Yeah.
So you got a whole bunch of apartments, 8-bed HMO. So talk me through how you found it, how you calculated it,
Yeah.
and what made you buy it. How did you know it was going to value up?
Well, we knew because of seeing a lot of your videos and seeing and speaking to the right amount of people that if you buy commercial convert to resi, you can uplift value a lot more than a standard house.
Yeah.
And obviously, the auction price was so dirt cheap for how big it was. We were just like, this would be silly not to get this. Like, surely there's a scheme here that we can do. And we had to, because it was auction conditions, we had to be very quick about our feasibility studies, but figured you could definitely get a good size HMO and a few flats here.
Yeah.
And then
So when you bought it, you didn't have any planning permission?
None, no.
How did you know you were going to get planning?
Spoke to a lot of locals, local builders, local project managers, and they were like, yeah, any day they'll get planning for that.
Yeah.
And we were like, cool.
Here's the thing, right? Of course you're going to get planning because the council don't want derelict pubs sitting around.
They attract the wrong people.
Of course they do. So the council are desperate to get these old pubs converted. Also, these old pubs, commercial properties, are valued based on their rent.
Yeah.
If they're derelict, there is no rent.
Yeah.
Commercial property, the prices are dropping and dropping and dropping because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Residential property is going up, 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 up. So you bought it, bang, converted it into a residential, 8 HMO rooms and 5 apartments, and now it's worth 700 grand. You must be gassed when you got that valuation.
Yeah, scat. It was like all money out, like because we had so many problems with it because it was coronavirus. We just thought like, you know, how many more mistakes can keep potentially going wrong, and then when we got the value.
And you used your own money for this project.
Yeah.
Right, you and your dad teamed up.
Yeah, yeah.
You're 25.
Yeah.
To make £250,000 at 25,
Yeah.
and then because you've done it, you're now pulling other investors into your other projects. You've got another one the same as this,
Yeah, another 2.
like this,
They're literally like this. One of them's bigger.
that you've bought.
Secured. So
Okay.
but then we bought them subject to planning. So we've
dude.
got them. We've got them.
This guy knows what he's doing. He's going to be a next multi friggin' millionaire. Keep showing me around, bro. I'm so gassed.
Yeah, so that's
One after you.
So that's one of the smaller rooms we just did.
We
now.
can't go in every room.
No, we
If
can't.
we went in every room, this video would be a 45-minute video.
Legit.
But just to give you a bit of the lowdown, where's the kitchen at?
Well, it's kitchen there. You got bedroom there. Bedroom's that way. Kitchen.
Look how
here,
big it is. It's like a maze.
Another bedroom there.
And the apartments are all off. They've got a different entrance to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Multiple bathrooms, multiple things going
All
on.
suites.
All on suites. Whole different separate part of the building where the planning permission is. So how do you get planning permission then? What do you have to do to get planning?
You have to run. Well, I mean, that's all the back end stuff, like running your feasibility, knowing that what you're submitting for is going to make financial sense for us as a business and an investment. But to actually go for the planning procedure, you need an architect. You need to meet certain compliance. You need to anticipate fire regs and certain other things. But then it is literally just submit to the council. They'll open an online portal.
Just email them the plans for the
So
architect
easy, man.
and just go, hey, I'm looking at building this. These are the plans.
Yeah,
They say yes. Then you say to the builders, these are the plans.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah. Well, in this case, they had a few comments, but there was nothing like a no. It was just actually we want you to consider this, consider that, consider a fire escape like this. The kitchen was actually the problem in this one. We thought our scheme initially was better, but they was a bigger kitchen. But now it's a smaller kitchen, but it's got the exit, which is what they've got 2 entrances, was what they wanted. That was the only pushback we had, though.
When you said to the builder, "Here, the plan's going to knock yourself out," the builder literally did.
The project manager.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant that because the builder was quite happy with this one. Right, yeah. So when we started, our project manager, unfortunately, had a bad accident. Someone mugged him.
Someone knocked the dude out.
Yeah, on our first project. Yeah,
you got people knocking you out. Jeez.
Yeah. It meant that he was essentially, I don't know, because it's his life, it's his private thing, but essentially meant he was out of action for a while whilst we were starting the refurb and going into Corona. And we had no project manager. Our builder stepped up and did us bits, and for that I am eternally grateful. Yeah. It meant that we had to solve shit.
What do you think of this area? Do you think this area is bad? Do you think it's smart buying in this area?
Yeah.
Go on.
Massive.
You're from London, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm from London.
What would you say to someone from London though that just says, and to be fair, you have got a lot of crime in London anyway, but someone in London, this is Newcastle, right? Someone in London that might say, "I just want to buy in London only."
Yeah.
What would you say?
If your motive is to make money, then I mean, if you want to do nothing, you could just park your money in London and do nothing, and in 10 years it will double. London goes up like crazy. But I mean, if you really want to make some cash flow, make some good money, you're just stupid to not go north.
Because the rents for these rooms and for these flats
are the same.
Are not much different from London.
No, they're the same. It's like you can get 550 HMO rooms in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And I know someone who's got 450 HMO room in London.
So the rents are almost the same in some instances, but you bought the entire building for 130 grand.
Exactly.
Absolutely crazy. Right. So how do you? Because one of the things, a couple of things that I always say, which I think you've proven to be true. One thing is a big deal takes just as much effort as a small deal. Because this has been pretty hands off for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've come down, you've been helping oversee it, but I know you spent less time on this than you did on some of your small projects.
Yeah, right.
Second thing is power of momentum.
Yeah.
You only got started doing this 18 months ago.
Yeah.
I remember sitting out having dinner with you. You told me you wanted to do rent to rent.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't want to do rent to rent, bro. You do really big things with music.
Yeah.
Got a massive following. You need to be doing some big projects, proving you can do it, learning on the job, getting a really good power team, and then you need to be bringing in investors and growing big. Yeah, and that's what you're doing now.
Yeah.
You've got some big stuff going on.
Massive. And literally, there's so much hassle with... I mean, there's been hassles with this, don't get me wrong, but the reward is so much better that I would take hassles with this any day compared to a HMO. I just can't see myself ever doing a HMO again. Like a 7, 8, 9 bed HMO, slightly different.
Yeah, bigger.
If it's a good deal, then that works out nicely, because you can look at pocketing 1,500, £2,000 a month from that, but I just would never do a smaller deal again.
Why make 250 quid a month from a buy to let when you can make £250,000 profit in the space of 8-9 months on a pub conversion?
Massive.
Commercial to residential. Everybody wants to focus on the pennies, but they're so focused on the pennies that they miss the million.
Yeah, miss the big picture.
Right, they miss the big picture. So, so commercial to residential. However, I don't want to misguide anybody. I personally have to say, and I bet you'd agree with me, don't jump straight into a project like this. Okay, without first having some experience, having some training, having some support. I don't know. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like it's done. Like this was one of the first thing we bought, but we did run in tandem a 5-bed HMO, which taught us some lessons that we adapted here. But because we tried stuff. If we didn't try it, we wouldn't have learned.
You're gonna mess up when you start, so you may as well mess up on small deals.
Yeah, definitely.
Make the mistakes on small deals, grow to big deals, but ultimately a big deal and a small deal take just as much effort.
Yeah, if you got the balls, big deal.
Yeah.
If you got the balls, it's gonna take exactly the same amount of
effort. So figures. I can't quite believe the figures, man. Yeah, this is serious. Some serious figures. Bought it for 130. Spent 240 doing it up.
Yeah.
370 all in, plus a few other bits and bobs. So you're calling stamp duty and professional fees all in 450?
Yeah, say that, yeah.
700 grand is the new value. Yeah. Minus 450 is leaving you. Oh shit, I did that one wrong. 700 grand minus 450 is going to leave you with a nice clean £250,000.
That's 35 net a year.
And £35,000 clean profit a year. You want to do big deals like this? Learn like Ryan did. Start on small deals, get educated. This guy just messaged me a couple of years ago and was like, dude, take me out for dinner.
Yeah.
Or let me buy you lunch. But that's the thing though. That's the difference between a go-getter, someone that's prepared to be like, you're doing well, come on, let's have lunch. And I bet you've done that with lots of different people, with builders and architects and just getting your team around. This guy will jump in a car, drive 5 hours to Newcastle just to view a potential house, and then drive back to London. If you're prepared to do what most people are not prepared to do, you're going to live the life most people can never live.
Absolutely.
You know? So, dude, I'm well pleased with this project. I'm well pleased to be acquainted with you.
Thank you.
You want to see more projects like this? We've got some big stuff coming up. So don't forget to subscribe. You can subscribe right up here. You want to see more videos like this? You want to see me building 6 houses from scratch, making £500,000 profit? You can check that video out up here. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.